Hey y'all, Shonda here. So I wanted to share something that I am personally observing. As y'all know, I always see like everything that I'm working on personally, I always start to see the same themes with clients who are kind of in the same space or in the same place on their healing journey. And I started getting some like confirmation and some insight from the ancestors and from spirit. And so when it comes to us having children, and when we are, especially when we are parents, the best thing that we can do for our kids is to know what, for a lack of better terms, to know what our ish is. Like know what your pains are, know what your wounds are, know what your trauma is. To do the undigging and to do the unraveling. And listen, I know it's painful, and I know sometimes denial and pushing through and whatever feels better. But when we have kids, they come here with our stuff. That's how ancestral and generational trauma works, especially in the spiritual body. And the best thing that we can do for our kids is to know what our stuff is. Because when we know what our wounds are, when we know what what has been done to us, or what we have been through and how it makes us move in the world, because our wounds, our trauma is the reasons we become people pleasers, the reason we become liars, the reason we become manipulators, the reason we start trying to, move this way with these people, move this way with these people. Our wounds make us move that way. They bring out those behaviors in us. And if you know what your stuff is, when you have your kids, even when they're young, you will see them same wounds in your kids. And if you can slow down enough to know what your wounds are, identify your wounds, and even take it a step further to actually do something about them, take it a step further to heal them, take it a step further to get yourself the tools to heal that within yourself, then we can heal our kids. Like, then we can heal our kids, and they don't have to grow up with those same behaviors, or they don't have to grow up with us teaching them how to survive and cope with their behaviors or their bad or their trauma. And it also helps us start to be more patient and more understanding and more compassionate when they start to show up in life a different way. When they start to, your kids will mirror the stuff you don't like about yourself. They'll do the same thing. Those same behaviors that aggravate you, those same behaviors that make you be embarrassed about how they move in public, it be the same stuff we don't like about ourselves. But if we can start to empower ourselves with tools and we start to do the work, then we can heal them by giving them the tools, by giving them the love, by giving them the compassion, by giving them the understanding on how to shift their behavior, of how to think differently about themselves, of how to think differently about other people. And the way it works spiritually, when you start healing yourself, you start healing your kids. And that is how we really start to break that ancestral and that generational trauma, those ancestral and those generational thinking behind lack and scarcity and what's possible and what we can do in our lives. And our kids will attract you increase their vibration, so they start attracting good stuff. Like, luck be real with them, magic be real with them, as far as like, oh, they was in the store and somebody gave them $1. Like, that's how they be rolling, because their energy is such in a good place. They're not moving with your stuff on top of them. They are literally just out here enjoying life. And they have the internal clock and the internal permission to do so, because now they don't have all this generational heaviness, just generational angst, this generational resentment and bitterness. They can literally just have a life that is theirs, and they can just live it. So I wanted to share this because I've been talking to other moms and other parents, and we've been talking about how how we see ourselves and our kids, but how when you start doing this work, your kids be a direct mirror to what you need to work on, to what you don't like about yourself. But when you start doing when you start working with those tools, you start healing yourself and you start developing your own understanding, your own inner awareness, your own really deep relationship with yourself, then we can raise our kids with a certain level of patience, with a certain level of understanding. You can see them do a behavior and it'll look so familiar. It'll be like, right, it'll be like a time warp. It's like you'll be looking at a younger version of yourself having the same experience, developing the same neural pathway and coping mechanism, but you could stop it right then and there. You can stop it because then you'll have a tool. Then you'll know you'll be doing the healing work on them. And when you start healing, if you ever start healing with your ancestors, then you take it to a whole different level and you change the entire narrative for your entire ancestral line, before you and after you. So I just wanted to share that with anybody who, you have kids and you want them to have better outcomes, you want them to have a better life. It's deeper than just sending them to the best schools and, making sure they have the best of the best of the best. Like, yeah, give your babies the world, like all day, every day. But that emotional and that spiritual, it's real. And when you know yourself and you start working on yourself and you start undoing the things that you want to work on, when you get out of denial of like, well, I'm just strong, I just push through that. When you really start being like, no, I just want to be happy and I just want to get all this anxiety and this fear and these doubts and this self-sabotage off of me. When you start doing that kind of work, you can literally change the course. You can change the course of your child's life. So if you're out there and you're doing the work, keep going, keep unraveling, keep owning your stuff, keep holding yourself accountable, keep healing your trauma, keep healing those wounds. Use your tools, use the tools that have that God energy, your energy within you to heal yourself. When you do that, you change the whole narrative for yourself and your family. So keep healing, keep going, y'all.